Good afternoon, Madam and all my friends. I am Yu Guo Kyung 263089 from Group A1. Today I am going to present on sub-question 1 to 3 for question 1. First question requires us to figure out which costing system is used by Cherkass-Sendirian-Berhad and explain it. As we know, there are two costing systems which are normal costing and actual costing. In this question, Cherkass-Sendirian-Berhad is using normal costing system because Cherkass-Sendirian-Berhad estimate manufacturing overhead cost at the beginning of the period. Next, second question requires us to compute a predetermined overhead rate for the plant as a whole based on machine hours. The formula to compute POHR for the plant is by divided the estimate total manufacturing overhead cost for the coming period by the estimate total unit in the allocation for the coming period, which is machine hour in this question. So we add the estimate overhead cost of Department A and Department B, which are 37,500 ringgit plus 60,500 ringgit and divided by 5,000 machine hour for Department A and 4,000 machine hour for Department B. At the end, we will get the 6 ringgit per machine hour for the POHR of plants. Next, the question 3 requires us to compute the predetermined overhead rate for each department using machine hour. The formula is same as in question 2, which are estimate overhead cost divided by estimate machine hour. Predetermined overhead rates for Department A is calculated by divided 37,500 ringgit by 5,000 machine hour. The answer is 7.50 ringgit per machine hour. For predetermined overhead rates for the Department B, we use 16,500 ringgit and divided by 4,000 machine hour, and we will get 4.125 ringgit per machine hour at the end of the calculation. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Farah Amira binti Mas Soheh. My metric number is 255639. So I'm going to continue what Kyung has presented before this. We still focus in exercise 1, but I'm going to assist you guys in question number 4 and question number 5. So for the question number 4, it's already stated that job C11 used 10 machine hours for Department A and use 25 machine hours for Department B. So for the job C12, it has used 25 machine hours for Department A. Meanwhile, for the Department B, it used 10 machine hours. So the question asks us to compute the overhead cost assigned to each job using the plan-wide rate compute in question number 2. So Kyung already calculate for us for the predetermined overhead rate of plan, which is we get RM3 ringgit per machine hours, right? So at this question, as you can see in the slide, I already separate the job C11 and job C12 according to department. So we can see clearly which part using the most, you can see clearly the hours have been used by each production. Okay, for the Department A in job C11, we can compute the overhead cost assigned by time the predetermined overhead rate time with the hours that have been used. For example, for the job C11 in Department A, RM 6 ringgit time with the 10 machine hours, and we get RM 60 ringgit for Department A. For the job C12 in Department A, RM 6 ringgit time 25 machine hours, and we get RM 150. So we can use this for the Department B. We're going to use the same formula, and for each job, so for the job C11 we get RM 150 ringgit, and for the job C12 we get RM 60 ringgit. So guys, we already finished for the part A. Now we're going to the part B. So for the part B, we're going to repeat the computation by using departmental rate, which has been calculated by Kyung in question number 3. So before we compute the overhead cost assigned for each job, what we need is predetermine an overhead rate for both departments, which is Department A and Department B. So I already stated in this slide, which is for Department A is RM 7 ringgit 50 cents, and for Department B is RM 4 ringgit 30 cents. So now we can compute the overhead cost assigned for each job. Okay, for the job C11 in Department A, what we have is RM 7 ringgit 50 cents with time with 10 machine hours, and we got RM 75 ringgit. For the job C12, RM 7 ringgit 50 cents time with 25 machine hours, we got RM 187.50 cents for overhead in Department A. So that also happened in Department B, and what we got in job C11 is RM 103 ringgit 30 cents, and for the job C12 in Department B is RM 41 ringgit 25 cents. So guys, we already at the last part of the question number 4, which is part C. The question is, which of the two approaches give the fairer cost assignment and why? So for me, I'm going to say that the Department of Overhead Costs will give fairer cost assignment. Why I'm going to say this is because plan-wide overhead rate are usually to allocate the manufacturing overhead costs, right? So it's also established for each cost pool. So normally, company that use this approach are company that have a simple production, a simple operation, and also similar production. And for the company manufacturing that have various product, which is some of the equipment of the product are expensive, are not suitable for using this approach, which means that the company need to change to the department overhead rates. So for the Cekap Sendirian Berhad, even though they have almost similar product, which is I don't know, but I think they have almost similar job, which is job C11, job C12. But for me, for each department have a different value of overhead cost, and a quite big difference. For me, to be fair, it's better for the Cekap Sendirian Berhad change to the department overhead cost. Why? Because department overhead cost will consider all the activities in manufacturing, because we know manufacturing production have a different process, which is have a different department to produce an output, which is also lead to different overhead costs. So it's not fair for the company to put all the overhead rate same. So department overhead rate give flexibility to use different activity or cost. And for some department, there are some department will use labor, while the other department going to use machines. So I think it's better for the Cekap Sendirian Berhad to use department overhead cost. So guys, we already reached at the last part of the exercise 1, which is the question is repeat requirement number 4 and assuming the expected overhead cost for department B is 30,000 and not 60,500. For this company, would you recommend departmental rate over plan wide rate? Briefly explain. So if Department B changes the overhead rate to RM30,000, means that we need the new predetermined overhead rates of Department B, which is, as we can see from this slide, the new POHR Department B is RM7.50 per machine hours. So we can compute the new one overhead cost assignment in job C11 and job C12, which is RM187.50 and also 75 ringgit. So in my opinion, it's better for the checkup center in Berhad to stay use department overhead rate, because the increasing overhead in overhead which is RM30,000, right? So it will be more easy for the checkup center and Berhad to allocate the overhead according to department separately, and this will help them to help the company to improve accuracy of overhead allocation. That's all for me. Thank you.
My matric number is 255803. I will continue for the first question. To get predetermined overhead rate, we will get from the beginning of the year manufacturing overhead cost and machine hour. So 450,000 divided by 30,500 for machine hour, we will get 12 ringgit per machine hour. And the second one is to compute the under apply or over apply overhead. So this we will take the over the year and we will get 360,000 under apply for apply overhead. And then to get under apply overhead, the formula for under apply overhead, which is actual overhead minus apply overhead, we will get under apply overhead. For this question, 425,000 minus 360,000, we will get 65,000 for under apply overhead. And the third question, which is to determine how much the overhead cost for this each item already given in the question. To get the percent of total each item, we will get from 80,000 divided by 360,000. So we will get percent of total for work in process, which is a 5%, and we will allocating of 65,000 from the under apply over. So we will get the under apply for work in process, which is 3,200. We will going to calculate same like work in process, 90,000 divided by 306 and allocating of 35,000. So that's all from my part. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Nur Fahna binti Azami. My matric number is 259156.
So now I will continue question 2 number 4, which is prepare journal entry to record the under applied or over applied overhead compute in number 3. The first is debit manufacturing overhead 65,000, credit work in process 3,250, credit finished goods 16,250, and credit cost of goods sold 45,500. For question 5a, repeat requirement 1 to 3, assuming the estimate machine hour is 28,000 only. For step number 1 is we need to calculate predetermined overhead rate, which is 450,000 divided by 28,000, and then we get 16 ringgit per direct labor hour. Step number 2 is applied overhead. We need to calculate 16 ringgit times by 30,000, and then we get 480,000. The company incurred actual overhead of 425,000, which is less than applied overhead by 480,000. So the company has underapplied at 55,000 for the year. Step number 3 is allocating of 55,000 of underapplied overhead. The company will reduce the ending work in process by 2,750. For finished good is 13,750, and the cost of goods sold at 38,500. For question 5b, repeat requirement 1 to 2, assuming that actual manufacturing overhead cost is 362,000. The first step is calculate predetermined overhead rate for 450,000 divided by 37,500, and then we get 12 ringgit per direct labor hour. The second step is calculate applied overhead, 12 ringgit times by 30,000, and then we get 316,000. The company has incurred actual overhead for 360,000, which is higher than applied overhead by 360,000. So the company has over-applied at 2,000 of overhead for the year. For question 5c, how could you adjust and record for the amount of under-applied or over-applied overhead compute in B? The company will adjust the amount by allocating of 2,000 ending work in process by 100 ringgit, for finished good is 500 ringgit, for cost of goods sold is 1,400. For question 5d, prepare journal entry to record the under-applied or over-applied compute in C. The first, we need to debit manufacturing overhead for 2,000, credit work in process 100, credit finished good 500, and credit cost of goods sold 1,400. For question 6 is explain why does a company apply predetermined overhead rates rather than assign actual manufacturing overhead costs to job. Manufacturing overhead is applied to jobs that are in process and allocation based, such as direct labor hours, direct labor dollars, or machine hours. It used to assign manufacturing overhead to individual jobs. Manufacturing overhead also include a number of different costs, and it will be very difficult to gather of them to a particular job. A job may be complete and sold before we can determine actual overhead costs incurred.
My name is Adiba binti Cekla. My matric number 259342. Today I will present about question 3. The first one, calculate a plant-wide rate for the Syarikat Tekno based on the machine hour. What is the bid price of the each job using this rate? For the first one, we need to find overhead rate, which it will plus all departmental for the welding, assembly, and also for the finishing. And we are divided by 10,000, 2,000, and we are plus also 4,000, and we get for the answer 54 ringgit per machine hour. And then we need to do the bid price table for the job 1 and also for the job 2. They are include direct material, direct labor cost, and we find for the overhead 54 ringgit. We are multiplied by 400 machine hour. We get the same answer, which is 21,600. And we plus all the item, we get the total manufacturing cost, which is for the job 1, 38,600. and for the job 2, 46,400, and we plus 45% of markup, and we get the last answer for the bid price, which is for the job 1, 55,970, and for the job 2, 67,280. For the second question, calculate for departmental overhead rate for the 3 job producing department. What is the bid price of each job using this rate? For the first one, welding overhead rate for 440,000, we are divided by machine hour. We get Rn 44 per machine hour. And for the assembly overhead rate, we are do the same thing, but we change in the direct machine hour, because in the question they are state we are using the direct labor hour, and we get the answer Rn 6.2 per direct labor hour. And for the last one, we are using the finishing overhead rate, which is 300,000 divided by 4,000 machine hour, we get 75 per machine hour. And we do the bid price table for the job 1 and also for the job 2. And then we are do the same thing, and we are do the same thing, and we plus 45% markup, and we get the last answer, which is for the job 1, 51,684, and for the job 2, 69,887. And for the last question is, repeat requirement 1 and 2 if the bid price include a 30% markup over the full manufacturing cost. We are do the same thing, the bid price, but we change the markup from the 45% to the 30%, which, and the last one we get answer for the job 1, 50,180, for the job 2, 60,320. And the second one, we are do the same thing, but they are different in the overhead and also for the markup. And then for the last answer for the bid price for the job 1, we get 46,337, and for the job 2, 62,657. And then we get for the last answer for all the questions. So thank you for watching my all video group. That's all our presentation.